Hi guys, this is Julie. I'm with the Calhoun County Young Democrats, and today we have Angela Morgan. She is running for the Board of Education for District 6. Angela, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, Julie. I appreciate it.
It's great to have you. So if it's okay with you, we'll just dive right in and
Absolutely.
we'll get going. Okay. As someone who has experience as an educator, what would you say are the biggest problems within our school system?
You give big questions to start with. There are lots of problems that are there. But ultimately, the biggest thing you've got to look at is the teacher shortage. I think it gets lost right now. If we're looking at national campaigns and things like that, you're really not seeing people address that. And if you don't address the teacher shortage, you're not going to be able to solve other issues as well. Let me give a prime example. If you have a school that is missing, let's say, 2 teachers, in 4th grade is one of the teachers they're missing. You're going to have to take that entire class of 4th graders and divide them. Instead of by 4, you're going to divide them now by 3, and that just makes class sizes larger. Mm-hmm. Then you worry about, okay, am I going to be able to give enough time to each student that I need to, since I now have a larger class? What is my classroom management going to look like? Am I going to be able to deal with problems as they arise when I see them? Because they will arise. Mm-hmm. So teacher shortage is an issue. We're filling teaching spots in many cases with people who are underprepared.
Really?
That is not creating sustainable opportunities or sustainability within the profession.
Especially when you think of education as the foundation, really, of society as a whole. You would think you would really want to get that right, get some really qualified people in there from the get-go.
Well, so there's a lot of reasons people aren't going into the profession. Mm-hmm. Obviously, pay is one of them.
A big one, yeah.
Even though we've had several pay increases, and we definitely have some wonderful benefits for teachers here in Alabama, we have a lot of other challenges too. We have a ways to go on the pay, but imagine being someone who goes to work every day, works as hard as they can, and then they turn on the news and all they hear is about how horrible students are doing on standardized tests, how horrible students are doing on this or that, or how some teacher did something horrific and now the entire profession is being blamed. So you've got to also look at respect. You've also got to look at trust.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things that we need to look at when fixing the teacher shortage problem.
Yes.
And it's not just having conversations with our colleges and our school systems about ways that we can better train. It's also asking parents, what is it that you think that we can do as a community that can lure some people here? And, there's some creative solutions to this. Mm-hmm. I'll give a prime example. Several schools that I worked with, and I worked with 8 different school systems, not just as an educator, but I was a representative for the Alabama Education Association. And so I worked all the way from custodians and bus drivers up to superintendents and board members. And one of the things that I was so privileged to do is I helped with what we call a Grow Your Own program.
Okay.
And that's Future Teachers of Alabama. It is a program where students that are interested in maybe becoming teachers can learn more about it while they're still in high school. And a lot of school systems now, particularly here, I know it doesn't seem like Anniston or Oxford are rural, but we are.
Yeah.
And most of District 6 for the Alabama School Board is rural. Mm-hmm. So when you're looking at that, you grow your own teachers. They go to college, they come back. Mm-hmm. They know the community. They know the school system. They know how things work. So you've already done some of the groundwork to get them acclimated back into your system as a educator.
Right.
We're having a lot of success with that. There's a lot of ways to continue to grow, but that is a program that really is worth continuing to invest in.
That sounds like I wish that had been around when I was back in school, because I think that would have been just a really great passion of mine. I think I've loved going to school, and it's just really interesting to hear a teacher's point of view. So, okay, so If you were elected, these problems that you've just described, how would you fix some of these problems / what would you want to accomplish?
Well, obviously, one of the ways that you do that is working with your college preparation programs for teachers. Some of them have intensive internships, some don't. You definitely would want to work with the legislature, making sure that you have supported these programs. I'm going to point out something that a lot of people won't talk about, but if you're going to recruit teachers, one of the things they need is a paid internship. Let's just be honest.
Yes.
Nurses can get paid internships. A lot of other professions have paid internships. But a teacher gives up their entire semester, sometimes an entire year, to go into a classroom full day and work with a teacher, actually conduct lessons and things like that. They get nothing. So
how are they expected to
live?
Yeah.
That's exactly the question. So now let's talk about, why would you not, as a young person, maybe wanted to go into education? You may have wanted to, but it's not fitting into what your lifestyle is, or your ability to even pay for your school because you can't hold a job.
Yes.
So there are definitely some ways to work around that. And we need to continue to work toward maybe looking into these ways if we're going to increase that. But some of the other issues aren't just about preparation. It's once you get that person in the classroom well trained, how do you keep them there?
Yes.
And that's where we've got to really address things like trust, communication. And if anyone visits my website, can I plug that? Would that be okay?
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's simple. Angela4education.com. How easy can you get?
Yeah.
Right? So I have some main points on there just to make it nice and simple to help people understand things that I kind of focus on. And one of them, let's say, happens to be trust, right? And I'll give this example. I give this example a lot. Let's say you have a child that's being bullied by another child. Right, we're going to pick 4th grade again, just a good grade. Little Johnny's being bullied by Sam. Well, Johnny goes to his teacher, Miss Pruitt. Miss Pruitt says, this is not good, let's talk, and she brings in the kids. Then she decides, okay, well, I need to call Sam's parents. We need to talk this out. And she's going to call little Johnny's parents too. And so she makes those phone calls. Nothing happens. Poor little Johnny is still being bullied, and oh my goodness, it's affecting his learning. His grades are dropping. He's just struggling. So she goes to the principal, and the principal says, well, okay, I'll see what I can do. Well, nothing gets done. Or maybe you do have a really good principal that sends the child, Sam, to in-school suspension.
Yeah.
Okay. He comes out of in-school suspension. There's no change in behavior. You've now lost the trust for little Johnny and Miss Pruitt.
That anything will actually change, will actually happen.
That anything will change and get better.
Yes.
Well, there's some solutions that you could do to try to regain that trust. And I'll give a prime example of in that ISD room, and this is what, anybody that has a student in school will know this. You send them there, they do their work. They're about, into the day of maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, and they finished every bit of work that's been assigned to them.
Yeah.
So very typical. What do you do with the rest of the day? The 5-6 hours you have left. Very often they may have to copy out of another book, copy out of a dictionary, things like that.
We always had to copy our code of conduct.
Oh,
Just
there you
sit
go.
there and copy it.
And let me ask you a question. If you had to copy the code of conduct, did you learn a behavior that would change whatever happened?
I couldn't even tell you one word out of that code of conduct that I wrote down. I just know if you ever got sent there, that's what you were given, and you just wrote it.
So why are we wasting that much time of a child's day instead of doing a corrective behavior?
Yeah.
Legislature has caused some discussion. They passed a bill where they're allowing chaplains and things into the classroom.
Oh, boy.
So obviously a chaplain would have to be trained and vetted. You definitely have to pass background checks, all of these things. But what a great opportunity for somebody to come in, maybe go into that in-school suspension area and say, okay, Sam, come on over here. Let's talk and see what we could have done differently so that you didn't land yourself here.
Yes.
And next time you feel whatever way you're feeling, instead of being a bully, you end up making a different decision, and now the whole environment of the classroom changes, and your learning's not interrupted by going to ISS or ISD.
Yeah.
So there's solutions that we can do to things.
Yes.
And that's just one of them.
Yes. Okay. So I think you may have answered this kind of already, but how do we create a system that prioritizes both the student and the teacher? So you kind of have touched on that a bit already.
So integrity is what you do, right? It's when what you say matches what you actually do. And we talk a lot about, we're giving voice to students, we're giving voice to teachers, and then we don't really do it. There's a lot of that. Mm-hmm. So we need to get back to having integrity and doing what we say. And if we're going to prioritize our students and our teachers, we actually have to do it.
Yes.
And one of the ways to do that is let's change the conversation. If we can change that conversation about education, instead of everyone talking about, how negative something is, focusing a little bit more on the positives.
That's true.
I'll give another example. I've got lots of examples.
No, we love examples here.
If you're a parent and you want to learn what your child is studying, let's pick second grade this time.
Okay.
If I go to the State Board of Education website, I will find science curriculum, history curriculum, language, math, all these great curriculums that have every grade in each one of the subjects. So I would have to search through all of these books to find out what my second grader is learning.
Oh, wow.
Why would I, as a parent who already has so much else going on, have to do that when educators, what we do the best is simplify things? Why not put all of second grade learning in one place? All of third grade. Now, once you get to high school and you have electives, obviously it's more complicated.
Yes.
But honestly, how many parents do we know that really go into curriculum as deeply? Not nearly as many as in elementary schools.
Yes. But and a part of that is it's more difficult to access. It's just not as... and I don't think a lot of people even realize that is accessible to them, maybe. So.
The website right now for the State Alabama School Board, it's actually called Alabama Achieves. It's the state website. It's good for some things, and it's actually okay if you're an educator, but I've had a friend try it. That's how I realized this is user unfriendly. And so we have to change that kind of, access to parents.
Right.
If I'm going to prioritize students and teachers, I need parents to be on board. And if they don't know what is being taught, they might hear some rumor and believe something that's not true. And now they have this negative connotation when, as an educator, I should have been able to fix this. And so simple things sometimes, these smaller issues, resolving those are going to help solve that bigger issue overall.
Start with the basics.
Start with the basics.
And go from there.
And if you're going to say you're going to prioritize students and you're going to prioritize educators, do it.
Do it. And do it in a meaningful way.
Well, talking about a meaningful way, I always have so much to say. I'm so sorry. I'm a teacher. It's what I do.
Please.
We dominate conversations.
Please, that's why you're here. Please.
So let's talk about prioritizing students. Do you know that most elementary schools no longer offer recess after the second grade?
No, I did not know that.
I served 8 school systems. 8 school systems. 1 elementary school had recess, kindergarten through 6th grade. And when you think about the mental strain that we see on our kids, the stress they are under, and they don't have recess, an 8 and 9-year-old child does not have 15 minutes of free, unstructured time to think. Now, I'm not talking PE.
Yes.
And that's where a lot of people get it wrong. If you look at that curriculum, you'll see they have a real structured curriculum. They're teaching things, lifestyle, to children, how to stay healthy. That's part of your PE curriculum. Unstructured recess is like that little 10-minute break you take on a job.
Yeah.
Right? kids aren't getting that for the most part after the first grade. A few get it up to the 6th grade or up to the 2nd grade, but only one out of the 8 systems I worked with went all the way to 6th grade.
Oh my gosh, that's bonkers.
If we're addressing obesity, we're addressing mental health. We're not putting children first by doing that.
Yeah.
And that's just a scheduling problem. That is where your priority is not.
Yeah.
It's not on the child. It's on making sure you meet all these little things. And that's got to change.
Everything fits neatly into its own little space, its own little box, everything.
Right.
Okay. Well, in this question, I think you kind of also touched on this one.
Sorry.
You're just so good. You already.
Sorry.
So we live in a time where basic facts have kind of become sensationalized. What would you say to those who are worried about woke culture being taught in schools?
I've actually had this question many times.
Okay.
And it's always the same answer. Which school in Alabama? Which school in District 6? Which school? Because you talk about things that you hear out in social media world or
in the ether.
In the ether.
Yeah.
But when you actually ask, where did this come from? You know, the one that cracks me up is the kitty litter rumor. I mean, have you heard that
one? No.
Oh my goodness.
Please.
So this was a couple years ago is when it started. They said that the children are associating themselves as called furries, right? So I'm going to pretend I'm some sort of kitty cat or what have you. And they said the teachers are putting litter boxes in the classroom and having the children use the litter boxes. I'm sorry. Ask any bus driver, any elementary school custodian, or anybody that is a Generation Xer. We know that kitty litter was used for younger children because they got sick in class a lot, and you covered it with it. And it's not really kitty litter, but it sure looks like it, right?
I know what you mean, yes. It was used to clean up when someone was sick. Yeah.
And people use this as a reason to say, oh, I don't like public schools. I'm sorry. Show me the school that's allowing that to happen. Give me the data.
Yeah, there's like this huge disconnect between what's actually happening and something you've kind of heard off in the background that is happening. I've never heard that before.
I've had people in Alabama who will tell me that, oh, well, they're teaching all this inclusion and diversity and all this stuff in our schools. And I'm like, okay. All right, which school is teaching something you think is wrong that is inclusive? Is this the school that's allowing everyone to all go to art class? I mean, what is it that you are opposed to?
What is so radical?
What is so
that you're
radical about that?
Scared of?
And they can't articulate it. And then almost always when I have the discussion, it all goes back to history courses. Well, I happen to teach history and I also taught sciences. So I had a pretty broad range of knowledge about different subjects. The Alabama course of study for history has nothing in it that is not factual. And then each school system gets to select their own textbooks out of a long list that the State Board of Education approves. So you have local control. And if you have a problem with this one textbook, you could probably go to your local school board and say, hey, can we look at some other choice? Normally on their textbook committees, they will have teachers, parents, they'll have administrators, all of these people. So what is it that you think is being taught that really isn't?
Right.
And it goes back to the whole issue. If we had just had the curriculum organized in a way that's easy and accessible,
yes,
we could stop this.
Well, and I think I've heard you speak on this before, and it is written in a way that educators can understand, but maybe someone who hasn't gone to college, it might kind of be a little bit out of their depth.
Some of the course of study is written in a way that is as foreign to some parents as if someone gave me a mechanic's manual to fix my own car.
Wow.
I may have a master's degree, but do you really think I truly understand what all of the terminology in that kind of manual is?
Yeah.
It is so far above my head. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense to me. So again, it comes back to it's our fault as educators that we haven't thought first about how parents and students are receiving this curriculum.
Right.
And we put teachers first in that level. And I think we can easily correct that.
Yes. And
simple fix.
All of these issues seem like they're not that serious. I mean, they are, but it just seems like we can do better. We know how to do better. We know what to do. We can do better, so let's just do it.
That issue of trust I keep talking about, we've gotten to a point where you have somebody who's so excited to go into education. Their dream is to literally help people learn.
Yes.
What a beautiful thing.
It is.
They get into a classroom, and this happens really in the younger grades. And the only reason I know this, because I taught high school, the only reason I know this is because when I retired, I became a substitute. And I subbed for 3 different school systems, and I saw a lot. And I went all the way from pre-K all the way up. So I learned. And one of the things I learned in the elementary school, let's talk about reading. They have these books that go through phonics and sounds and all these things to help, but they are scripted. I'm talking, you read this at this time. And again, it's a time management issue. They are told you have to get through this reading in this 20 minutes. You have to do this math in that next 20 minutes. You have to switch into small group at this other point. They literally are so regulated.
That's not how life works.
That's not how life works.
Not how kids work.
But we're expecting kids to do it, and then you wonder why they're stressed out.
Yeah.
So there is a time management problem that if you sat the superintendents, the principals, all them down, they're not going to hide it. They'll tell you immediately, I don't like doing this. And then they go back to, well, we're told by the legislature there's certain things we have to put in here. There's certain time things. And they have to then make choices. Then we're also told that, there's certain ways that we're supposed to do things, certain ways we're not. It doesn't always work for every child. It
doesn't, yes.
And so you've broken the spirit, if you will, of some teachers who had these ideas that were so engaging that now can't because they have to follow this script. You've kind of broken trust with all the administrators who they want to give opportunity to their employees, and they can't. So it creates that, self-fulfilling prophecy of people not trusting education.
Yes.
And until we really sit down and start talking about issues, it's not going to change.
You were very enthusiastic. And that is such a wonderful thing, and I really enjoy seeing your enthusiasm.
Thank you.
For education. So that'll kind of lead us into our final question.
Okay.
What personal convictions do you hold that you believe make you the right person for this job?
Ooh, convictions. Education is a lifelong journey.
Yes.
I came to public education out of working first in archaeology and giving tours on archaeological sites, working in museums, and creating programs for, audiences that ranged from 7 months to 97 years old, that sort of thing. So it's a lifelong journey. And so if we don't instill that in our students, they're not going to become the professionals that they can. And so from a personal conviction, I think that we have to get back to the basics of instilling lifelong learning in our students. And we have to do that in a way that allows teachers to have their passion come through.
Yes.
Because that's what's infectious to children and creates that love of learning.
And you always have those teachers that you remember and you think back on, and they were always the ones who were so excited, and they would dress up and wear the crazy sweaters for Halloween or Christmas and decorate the classroom, and you could just see that excitement shining through them, and it really makes an impression and sticks with you for the rest of your life.
It does.
So
it really does.
Well, Angela, this has been a pleasure. We have enjoyed having you.
Thank you.
So guys, if you're interested in any of our other videos, check out our channel. If you'd like to learn more about the Calhoun County Young Democrats, click on the link below. And remember, you are not alone.